Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways. Bitcoin at 26,300 and Ethereum hovering around that $1,600 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are pretty much a mix of green and red. However, guys, there are some good bullish moves to the upside. Altcoin Maker doing pretty good. However, guys, in today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project that is definitely looking for a bottom and is at a good, healthy risk-to-reward ratio opportunity, and that is ORAICHAin. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on those socials. The links are in the description. Guys, feel free to join that Discord. Great alpha, great setups, trade setups, fundamentals, learning material, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's begin by looking at this general market. Then we'll take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, because it could definitely help us figure out where some of these altcoins could be going. Particularly, of course, today is all about ORAICHAin, and I feel like using Bitcoin as a leading indicator might help our analysis. So let's move forward. We see Bitcoin looking a little bit top heavy. You got to admit, maybe looking for that rollover to the downside. The 4-hour definitely got into a somewhat overbought scenario. Is it done? The question is the Bitcoin pump done? And is it even classified? Could it even be classified as a pump? In this case, we could be seeing Bitcoin come down and retest those lower levels. And if that's the case, maybe we knock on those support levels once again and finally break down. Many people are expecting Bitcoin to hit a very bearish price target. I'm going to take it day by day. I'm going to take it day by day, and I'm going to be expecting if Bitcoin hits at about 20,000, give or take. We'll look at the momentum, we'll look for the divergences and all of that. But right around that zone, I will definitely be looking for a reaction from Bitcoin. And based on as a leading indicator, based on the fact that Bitcoin does, kind of give us the idea of what could be happening for the rest of the crypto space, maybe a long position at that level might be due. So we'll definitely take it day by day and keep an eye on Bitcoin. Let's continue here. What else do we have? BNB going sideways. What else do we have here? Dogecoin going sideways. Cardano taking a bit of a dip, down 2%. Altcoin showing strength once again, up 6.7%. Not bad at $2.04, guys. That's pretty good. Pretty good for Altcoin. We have Litecoin showing some strength, 3% to the upside, and maybe the supply shock is finally kicking in since it already had its halving. Something to consider. And usually Litecoin runs up a little bit earlier than Bitcoin. That's the reality, because its halving is a little bit earlier, so we could get a bit of a leading indication of what could be happening very soon in this market. So that's something to consider as well. I have AVAX at the bottom of the range, hovering around there still. However, down approximately 1.3%. Nothing to worry about just yet. It's definitely trying to hold that support. So let's see what happens there. Grinding to the upside, we have Filecoin up a bit, approximately 3% in the last little while. Pretty good. Not bad. H-bar, we covered H-bar yesterday. I did expect a little bit of a dip to touch lower levels, but nonetheless, guys, zoom out on H-bar is looking pretty good. DCAing at this range where it's potentially looking for that bounce, that bigger accumulation to the upside. That for me is something really bullish on H-bar. I like its price action right now. I like where it's holding, and for me, getting in with a small bag and slowly scattering some buy orders is definitely in the agenda for me. So obviously, none of this is financial advice, guys. Do your own research, do your own TA, see if you find confluence in what I'm saying. If you do, guys, great. It's great when you have confluence with other traders. Let's continue here. VeChain bullish, 4%, 10.5% in the last 7 days. Guys, we've been talking about VeChain significantly, especially live. I haven't done a dedicated video on VeChain for a while because a lot of the layer ones have been going stagnant, you know, quite boring. The momentum kind of died down and VeChain retraced. Of course, VeChain has been coming down like many other projects, and this is the thing. Now, the reality is maybe we're getting a bit of proof of life. VeChain did get a little bit of an upgrade, so that's pretty good. We got, you know, the ecosystem, you know, moving forward and doing some bullish things here. It got listed on Coinbase, another bullish thing to expect volume and more mass adoption and all of that. So this is looking pretty good for VeChain. You know, I'm expecting good things in the short term and even in the long term. So pay attention to VeChain, doing pretty good here. Kaspa going sideways. Kaspa is going sideways, of course. Going sideways after a nice rally to the upside, 27%. Guys, what do you expect? It's going to take a break. It's going to consolidate. The question is it going to use this as a bull flag and continue to the upside? Possible, guys. But for me, I want to see a momentum shift. I want to see Kaspa's momentum kind of cool off, reset, and then if it's going to take another move to the upside, I definitely want to see that momentum shift. I want to get some confidence that I'm not buying tops, which could be the case at the current moment. Okay, so be careful here with Kaspa. I'm bullish fundamentally. I'm bullish on the price action, of course. But at the end of the day, you know, ebb and flows. At the end of the day, peaks and valleys are meant to be bought and sold, and that's what I plan on doing here with Kaspa. Arbitrum getting a bit of relief, but nothing crazy here. Rocket Pool getting a nice bounce, but nothing crazy. A lot of these altcoins are looking for a bit of relief. The graph looking okay, 3%. Nothing crazy, of course. We're looking for bigger moves, bigger interesting moves, and sometimes these moves take time. Like THORChain right now is looking pretty strong, grinding to the upside, you know, up approximately 9% in the last little while. THORChain Rune looking pretty good. What else do we have here? But the general market here, guys, is either going sideways or dipping down, looking like it's slumpy. Look at this rollover. Look at this sign of Frax Ether. Look at what's going on here. Flow, you know, even Rollbit looking like it wants to roll over. We have Frax Share rolling over, looking like it wants to roll over. Gala might be forming its bottom, finally forming a bottom perhaps. Let's keep an eye on Gala, of course. And generally speaking, guys, Terra Luna Classic, what is it up to? 0.7%. Guys, this market right now is quite indecisive. You got to admit, you know, there's no real clear direction. Either the market is going sideways or the grind to the upside is so minimal that it's almost negligible. And at the end of the day, this is an accumulation phase. This is a transition phase into the bull market. And this is why we get those retracements. This is why we get low volume moves. This is why we're getting sideways price action, guys. And this is the opportunity to be doing research and speculating on new projects, on projects that could be giving us the double-digit gains that we're looking for. Okay, guys, prepare for Sunday. Sunday is an important day. Why? Because I'm going to be releasing my deep dive on Sunday. I think it's going to be a good one. So stay tuned for that one. Make sure that you subscribe, click that bell so you don't miss out on that update. And what else do we have? Guys, let's talk about Bitcoin. Of course, you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin looking at the charts. Today's all about ORAICHAIN, but definitely I want to look at Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is telling us first to see if it can kind of give us an indication of what to expect in the immediate short term. You know, like if Bitcoin does take that dip and it comes down to lower levels, we could expect other altcoins to follow its lead, of course, right? No guarantees, but it's very likely that Bitcoin could suck some of the liquidity out of the market because people get fearful. When Bitcoin starts dipping, they start saying, well, you know, risk on assets might even, dipped out even further, which means, you know, altcoins will take a bit of a beating here. So we got to prepare for that. But what about if Bitcoin continues going to the upside, which is also very possible here? Also very possible. Now, let's take a look at the momentum. We're still in that chop zone. We're getting a bit of a rejection here on the 50% mark on the RSI, which tells me like we could hang out here for the next little while. The MACD EMAs are still facing up with green histogram bars. Very indecisive type of chop action here on the momentum histogram bars. So we gotta be aware here. We're still going sideways while the daily's trying to get overbought. Now, it's in the chop zone. So meantime, we could expect that Bitcoin takes a break for a bit. It could take a little bit of a break, and we can get into the 4-hour. In the meantime, while the daily's taking a break, could we trade some intraday type of price action in the sense that we can probably get some swing trades on the 4-hour, getting overbought and oversold? You can see we got oversold here. We popped to the top and got overbought. Guys, we basically were talking about this here on the channel that Bitcoin would be going up and that getting into short positions is quite dangerous given the fact that Bitcoin is moving up. Now, the daily got fully reset almost. You can see that it pretty much tagged that overbought scenario. It didn't get into the extreme zone, which kind of bothers me because I like trading the extremities. But nonetheless, if we come up and get a confirmation, a double top, even a higher high with bearish divergence or anything like that, it would be another indication that if you're in a long from this bottom to take profit, or if you want to start building a short position, of course, guys, that's all up to you. But we can see that this volume gap right now is acting as a bit of a resistance. The bottom of the volume gap is causing a scenario where this price action is getting rejected, is being protected, right? The bears want to bring this price down. And of course, we have the 200 EMA here also on the 4-hour that is causing it to get rejected. Not a good look. But if you look at it in back on the daily, the price action is still downward sloping while the momentum is upward sloping. I don't know, today trading view is a bit slow and not so reactive. So we're going to be a bit patient here. So you can see price action coming down while the momentum is upward sloping. So that means that we have a class A, a bullish divergence right here on the chart for Bitcoin. So at the end of the day, we could expect follow through. But what about a bit of a back test to the downside? Momentum coming down based on the 4-hour that it's currently overbought. We come down, create a higher low. A higher low would be good, even if we come down and make a lower low, lower lows, higher low. In this case, we continue with the class A bullish divergence, and we get a third drive to the downside, and then finally we may get a bigger pop to the upside. That could happen. Now, what about if we continue to the upside and we get a full reset of momentum while this price action continues to look this way, sideways or downward sloping? Guys, that's very negative. That doesn't look good for me, because at the end of the day, we're getting a full reset while this price action is not doing anything or taking advantage of the bullish momentum and still coming down or going sideways. That is not good. It's neutralizing the bullish momentum. So guess what? Once we get into bearish momentum, this thing might fall, and really hard. It's consolidating at the top of the right above resistance or support here. Sorry guys, right above support. And once it gets that full reset, we're gonna have the strength to actually break down. If that happens, guys, we're ready to be buying the dip. So let's be aware that right now the 4-hour, it looks like it wants to roll over. Okay, let's be aware that the daily could be looking for an overbought scenario, and we could get a spike to the upside. But let's talk about the 4-hour and keep one step ahead and just focus on that 4-hour for a second here. Let it come down, and then we can start talking about long positions once again. Let's take a look at ORAICHAIN. ORAICHAIN, definitely a lower cap project, part of the AI narrative, really bullish overall. I think, you know, it has some really good value propositions. I'm going to do a deep dive on ORAICHAIN one day very soon, so be aware of that one. I'm going to be releasing my deep dive on Sunday. I've been working on a deep dive, so stay tuned for that one. But nonetheless, this thing is definitely retracing, right? Definitely. For me, it was about TPing up here. Then I saw this, and I'm like, you know what, this is a good place if you got in to TP again. You know, a bit of a red scenario where you could get a bit of a rejection. We got rejected there again. So this is the thing now. But if you look at lower levels, look where we are, guys. Crazy retracement all the way to. If you get in right now, I'll guarantee you with 100% certainty that you did not buy a top, right? You're buying a decent retracement here on the daily. Okay, you didn't buy up here, obviously, clearly can be seen. You bought a nice retracement now, and it's a pretty deep retracement. It looks like an 886 Fibonacci retracement down to the lower levels. We have a bit of a volume gap right here at about $1.63. You can see that we're kind of respecting it so far. I would like to see a little bit more respect by perhaps getting a nice double bottom or getting a consolidation here to show that we are potentially holding some support here. If we do not hold support right in this red box, guys, there's not much more we can do other than double bottom and get down to previous lows. Yes, we do have a bit of a volume gap here as well. But below this previous low, guys, we are in a dip discovery, pretty much coming down, and not knowing how low we could go here means that we could come down much lower. And that's the scary part. Okay, so let's get into log for a second, because you can see the chart a little bit better when you're in log, in the sense that it expands the price action just a little bit. And it can see, hold on, give me a second here. You can see, it stayed in log, that we are a lot higher than we are if we're using linear. And you can see that we're currently getting a bit of support here. We have a bit of support right here based on the point of control, the red line at $1.30, bit of volume there to hold that support. And then below that, we have a bit of a volume gap and then nothing at all. pretty much dipping down to lower levels. So why am I talking about ORAICHAIN is because at the end of the day, you're buying a decent retracement and looking desperately for some support right now, right? We got a nice bullish divergence here. We got the follow through, and now we got a back test. Could this be that higher low as confirmation low? A higher low right here is basically saying, look, we might be breaking trend. Higher lows, maybe we get that bounce and create a higher high. Now let's talk about that higher high. What happens if we break about $10.57, guys? That is a very bullish scenario here for ORAICHAIN, given the fact that above it we have a nice volume gap. If you look left, no price action, straight down price action. And if you look at the VPVR, it does kind of confirm that above, especially about $15, there's nothing to hold the price down. So we got to be very careful that once we enter about $10 to $11, that looking left, we do have price action that could act as resistance. We have tops, 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 and another top right here. So this is the zone where you got to be really, really protective of your gains, because the market could do a bit of a reaction here and maybe dip down. But nonetheless, if we break above and we get at least to about $14, at least that's a higher high. Higher highs, higher lows. The trend is your friend. We could definitely be building some momentum here for a further breakout and a continuation to the upside for a nice move up, right? So fundamentally, you know, there's a good stuff happening fundamentally, which I need to cover on a deep dive another day. But price action wise, look at the daily, is looking pretty good. Now we're getting higher highs on the price action. Okay, actually, let's see what's going on here. Higher highs on the price action. Let's get a little bit of a line going on in here, and it's not going to be a trend line. We just want to make it clear that we're just confirming that, look, if we hold up here, hypothetically, we would get a nice higher low. That's what we're looking for. So let's make this a spider line. Higher low. Now, if we look at the momentum, you can see that we're going sideways or making that higher low as well. So a lot of confluence here. Good trend. No bullish divergence just yet here on the daily. None whatsoever. So that's something to consider. Let's go in the 4 hour. If you go in the 4 hour, let's make this a bit bigger so we can see the momentum. Let's check out what the MACD is doing. MACD right now looks like it's trying to get a bit of a cross, a little bit of a cross to the upside, still looking pretty bullish. And let's zoom this in a bit and see what's happening here at the bottom of the range, trying to desperately come out of oversold conditions. And for me, that's really good because the price action is slowly grinding down, while the momentum, as can be seen here on the 4 hour, is upward sloping, right? It is upward sloping. So I'm going to make that solid because it's very clear. We got many touches and it's slightly upward sloping, as can be seen, right? So that's class A bullish divergence right now on the 4 hour. Okay, so we need to pay attention to the signs that the charts are giving us, and this is a sign that the bulls are potentially going to step in because the bears are showing some weakness. Bullish divergence, class A is looking good. The MACD, look at that. EMA is facing up. Green histogram bars to the upside. It's trying to get it into the bullish control zone, and if it does get into the bullish control zone, we could get a nice pop to the upside. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, horizontal support, we covered that, and the volume is there, and we have the point of control. Let's see the daily, if we have any divergences here. Nothing really happening right now, other than, you know, upward sloping here. The MACD looking pretty good as well. The MACD, look at that, EMA cross to the upside, green histogram bar is up. So O'Reilly MACD wise is looking both good on the daily and on the 4 hour. The daily right now, oversold conditions, looking for that pop to the upside, looking really good. I would like to see some bullish divergence, but it's not happening, especially on these two bottoms. But nonetheless, it's not a bad idea to consider, based on risk to reward ratio, to start DCing. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let's say we start going sideways and we start Wing here, making a nice pattern for a potential reversal. You want to build an invalidation. You want to see some invalidation points so that you can put a tight stop loss, and that way you can mitigate your risk, right? So if we go long and we start to go long around this area, what you really want to do is see the potential scenario of putting a stop loss. Why is this so deep? Oh, I know why. Let's get in linear for a second. Boom. Okay. You want to be able to put your stop loss as close as possible to invalidation. So hypothetically speaking, let's say that we do come down to this level and we kind of hang out and we can, you know, accumulate around this zone. You want to put your stop loss right underneath the bottoms that basically form its level of support. And that way you can mitigate your risk. And if you get an average position right around the zone, you're looking pretty good, right? Now, support wise or resistance wise, where you should be considering to take risk off the table, why not right here, right? We have a big volume gap formed. We have a little bit of a scenario where, you know what, we might get a bit of a rejection or reaction. Maybe we go sideways. Maybe we make a lower high. Very possible. And if you look at it from a modest perspective, you're up 200%. That's the reality. And that's the way you should be thinking right now, because we're still going sideways. No bull run confirmed just yet. So in that case, if you're up 200%, you should definitely be considering to take profit, right? Trail up that stop loss, put it at 100% gains, and then let the rest ride. Okay, that's a fair game, and take a bit of profits on top of that. But at least you can say to yourself, you're going to take half on the double, which means take your initial investment out once you double your money, which is at 100%. In my opinion, guys, that's a very good strategy, especially in speculative assets that are low cap and very volatile, to ensure that you protect your initial investment, number one, and number two, to ensure that you protect your gains, number two, obviously. So this is the thing here now, guys. Risk to reward ratio is absolutely healthy. Now, in the event that we do break down from this zone, if it doesn't act as support, guys, the only level next to actually look for that support is a double bottom, looking for a deeper retracement, maybe coming down to the previous low and holding support as a double bottom and looking for bullish divergence. Guys, obviously, you have the choice. Cut your losses right here, like I'm suggesting. That's a very viable option. Once we form that bottom and looking for W formations, cup and handles, inverse head and shoulders, those type of things. And then if we do form that bottom and we put the ice line or the invalidation right underneath, okay, stop yourself out with a bit of loss. You're looking at maybe 10% or a little bit less. Okay, I know it sounds like a lot, but the reality, look at the reward. Now, what about if your strategy is, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my stop loss down here. And if we do break below, guys, I want out. Now your potential risk is a lot higher. Look at that. You're risking about 47% of a potential position. So the only way you're going to mitigate this and reduce that risk is DCA. You're going to have to DCA. Don't go all in right at this level. Get in with a small position, and then as you come down, you're going to DCA and drag your average cost down so that you can get a better entry. And as low as it goes, you're going to have to go in heavier and heavier as it comes down. I like using, maybe at 20, maybe 20, 40, something like that. Go 20% at a time. 30, 30, 40 is great. Obviously, you're not doubling down significantly enough to bring down the average, but if you can double down each time, that is actually the best solution, because that way you can aggressively bring your average cost to lower levels. That way your risk to reward ratio improves, your overall profitability improves, and then when you get the bounce, you're in profits a lot earlier. So it's about getting a better entry. So it's all up to you where you want to put your risk or your stop loss. But if you're going to put it down there, get in slow and steady and average out your costs so that at the end of the day, you can bring your average cost down. Pretty good here with this setup. A lot of the layer ones are in a very similar boat here. Of course, ORAICHAIN being part of the AI narrative could be a very speculative, volatile project. But nonetheless, guys, this setup, this current scenario with a deep retracement, if you were looking to get into ORAICHAIN, this is not a bad time to get in. You didn't buy the tops, guys. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button, guys. I'm going to see you tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we're going to talk about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But better yet, join me live at 7:30, guys. That's a great place and time to make those requests and discuss charts as a community. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.